I'm Travis Montague. I'm founder and CEO of Holler, and this is Conversation Nation. I'm joined with Joshua Lowcock, Chief Digital and Innovation Officer at Universal McCann. Josh, how about you share a little bit with our viewers who you are, what you do in your role?
My role covers digital innovation, brand safety and responsibility, and privacy, which is a broad remit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So what it basically covers is I'm responsible for driving digital and innovation and forward thinking for our clients and across the agency. That's also balanced with the brand safety and responsibility side of things, so making sure that ads don't appear in inappropriate environments, so we hold platforms accountable for the actions that they take. And the last thing is, because privacy is such a big thing, from the CCPA being introduced in California to GDPR in Europe and other regulations around the world, ensuring we maintain our compliance with privacy regulations around the world.
Awesome. So you have your newsletter, you're always pushing out information about what's the latest and greatest in our industry for your clients and partners, etc. So as we're kicking off CES, I'm very curious to hear your thoughts around the trends that are going to drive our industry to kick off the next decade.
Yeah, I thought about a lot about that over the break, and there's sort of three things I bucketed into, which is rights, responsibility, and regulation. And I can expand on each of those points, but broadly speaking, it's like people will want their rights, digital rights, to be respected, and that will change the way technology companies behave. Responsibility will come both from brands and platforms, and the expectation that they'll have to take more responsibility for what they do, where they spend their money, and how they behave. And then regulation, somewhat a given, but regulators will start introducing new laws and rules, and that will also be driven by points 1 and 2, the rights and responsibility side of things.
So do you think that the regulations is going to evolve what type of marketing activities or strategies that advertisers and brands have to think about?
I think that's a risk. It's not really about whether you can or cannot target me. It's about there's certain locations or certain cohort sizes that I find unacceptable and unreasonable, and I shouldn't be able to target people that walk into a healthcare facility, and that should be excluded from a data set. Consumers shouldn't, and the public shouldn't have to say, hey, please don't target me when I'm at a doctor.
Yeah.
That should be something that the industry actively advocates and excludes people from those segments.
Yeah.
And that would reduce the amount of people that would want to opt out of having their data shared.
What do you think is going to be the lawmakers' kind of point of view for platforms like Facebook as they go into the next decade?
I think there's a bigger question that needs to be asked, and it's not about whether they have power or reach, and I'd say that's the same for Google or TikTok or Snapchat or Twitter. It's about the marriage of data and media, and about the strength of power that they have, because that data that they have can't be activated anywhere else except on their platform. So if I was reviewing them, if I was in the regulatory world, I'd be saying, okay, let's look about the consolidation of data and media, and how that drives and informs decisions. Because you go into any self-service platform on any of the major platforms, there's a wealth of data there. You want to activate that data. The only way you can activate it is on those platforms, and therefore they're the net beneficiary of that from a monetary and an advertising point of view. But if I could pick up that audience data and activate it independently anywhere, that would really shift that debate. Data portability is actually the big challenge there. Because I think consent in a digital world is a complicated concept because of the way data is shared and because of AI and machine learning, and it's hard to predict how your information may or may not be used.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how all of this unrolls as we start the year, and I'm very hopeful that we'll do better in this coming decade than we have in the last decade.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Really fun question.
Yeah.
What was the last emoji that you used?
Yeah, so that's an easy one to answer. The last emoji I used was the flame, the fire, and that's because I'm Australian and we've got the bushfires in Australia at the moment. So I'm using that flame emoji to raise awareness of the climate crisis and the fires in Australia. And I'm using that across Twitter and Snapchat and other social media.
Well, I've asked this question at the end of every single interview, and I've never had a situation where somebody responded with a social issue that they're promoting with emoji, and it just, to me, it resonates really well, because I've never had. You could see the breadth of how emoji and visual content could be used on social platforms. So that's I'm excited to hear that the emoji is being used in these environments as well.
Well, the great thing about the emoji is it's a great way of capturing attention. So instead of just text, that flame fire instantly alerts people to the issue.
So Josh, thank you for coming on and spending some time with our viewers. I know you're very busy at CES. Enjoy the rest of your CES, and I wish you a great start to the year.
No, thank you. Appreciate your time. Thanks.